Have you ever reached down to love on your dog and watched them quietly turn their head away? You probably told yourself it was nothing, but your dog has been speaking to you this whole time in a language nobody ever taught us to read. And here is the hard truth. The people who get petting wrong are usually the ones who love their dogs the most. So let me take you through the 10 mistakes I see again and again, working our way up to the single biggest one of all. Number 10. Forcing affection on a dog. Let me start somewhere gentle, because this one is the easiest to forgive. There are dogs in this world who simply do not enjoy being handled the way we expect them to, and that is not a flaw in the dog, and it is certainly not a rejection of you. Some dogs carry old fears in their bodies, fears from long before they ever met you, and a hand coming toward them sets off alarm bells they cannot help. When you keep reaching for a dog like that, even with the kindest intentions, you are speaking over them instead of listening, and over time they learn that being near you means being grabbed. The better path is one that veterinary behavior experts actually recommend, something called cooperative care, where a dog slowly learns to accept handling because good things come with it rather than because they have no choice. You let the touch become a conversation instead of a demand. And here is the part that should comfort you if your dog is the standoffish type. Affection does not only live in your hands. Sitting together in the same room, walking side by side, tossing a ball across the yard, these are all ways of saying I love you that some dogs understand far better than petting ever could. Number 9. Petting fast and rough when your dog needs calm. There is a real difference between the petting that winds a dog up and the petting that settles them down, and most people never stop to think about which one they are doing. When you come in quick and firm, slapping at their side or scratching them into a frenzy, you are flooding your dog with energy. Sometimes that is exactly what you both want during a happy, bouncy moment. But when your dog is tired or anxious or simply wants to rest beside you in the evening, that same vigorous touch is the last thing they need from you. Veterinarians who study this will tell you to start slow and gentle every single time, to let the experience be pleasant and calming, and only to speed things up if your dog clearly shows you they want something more playful. Think about how you would want to be touched if you were exhausted at the end of a long, hard day. You would want slow, steady, reassuring hands, not someone bouncing all over you. Your dog feels exactly the same way, and learning to read which kind of touch the moment is asking for is one of the quietest and most loving skills you can ever develop. Number 8. Mistaking the scratch reflex for pure joy. Now let me lighten things up a little, because this one always makes people laugh once they realize what is really going on. You know that thing where you scratch a certain spot and your dog's back leg starts kicking like crazy, going a mile a minute in the air? Almost everyone takes that as the ultimate sign of a blissfully happy dog. We even go hunting for that reaction, searching for the magic button that sets the leg going every time. According to the veterinary team at Hills, that rapid leg movement is an involuntary reflex, the scratch reflex, where your touch fires off nerves that run straight to the spinal cord. And in their own words, it may actually be irritating to the dog rather than enjoyable at all. It is not your dog laughing with delight. It is closer to that uncontrollable jerk you get when a doctor taps your knee with a little rubber hammer. So by all means enjoy the silliness of the moment, but do not mistake a twitching leg for your dog begging you for more. The two things are not the same, and knowing the difference is part of seeing your dog clearly. Number 7. Assuming a belly-up dog always wants a belly rub. This is one of the most beautiful misunderstandings in the entire relationship between people and dogs, and I want to handle it carefully because the truth is layered. When a dog flops onto their back and shows you that soft, vulnerable belly, our instinct screams that they are begging us for a rub. And sometimes, with a confident and deeply trusting dog who knows you completely, that is exactly what it means. But the Veterinary Behavior Network at VIN explains something most people are never taught. Rolling onto the back is often a sign of fear or appeasement, a quiet way of saying, please, I am no threat, please give me a little space. Only the occasional, very confident dog has truly learned to do it for the tummy rubs. Hills adds that in most cases, dogs would actually rather lie down next to you and be petted on the chest than have their belly handled at all. So read the rest of the body before you dive in. Is the dog loose and wiggly and inviting you closer? Or are they stiff and frozen and quietly hoping you understand? That exposed belly is not always a green light. Sometimes it is a white flag, and the loving thing is to know which one you are looking at. Number 6. Wrapping your dog in a tight hug. I know exactly how this one is going to land, because the hug feels like the purest expression of love we have. We wrap our arms around the people we adore, so naturally we do the very same thing to our dogs, pulling them in tight against our chest when our hearts are full and aching with affection. And I would never in a million years tell you to stop loving your dog, but I do need to tell you honestly what a hug feels like from the other side of it. The problem is not the closeness, the problem is the restraint. When you wrap a dog up in your arms, you take away the one thing every dog needs in order to feel safe, which is the freedom to move away if they choose to. Being held in place can make a dog feel trapped and vulnerable, even when the arms holding them belong to the person they trust most in the entire world. Watch your dog closely the next time you hug them. Look for the slow lip lick, the head turned away, the stiff little body just waiting for it to be over. This matters most for those of you who reach for your dog when you yourself are feeling lonely or low, when you need that hug more than they do. The kindest thing you can do is let the comfort happen on their terms. Let them lean into you. Let them choose to stay close. That choice is exactly where the real closeness lies. Number 5. Ignoring the quiet signals your dog keeps sending. Now we have arrived at the part that, honestly, changes everything once you finally understand it. Your dog has an entire vocabulary, and they have been using it on you every single day of your life together, and almost nobody has ever pointed out a single word of it. The signals are small and easy to miss, which is exactly why they slip right past us. The veterinary experts at VIN describe how a raised front paw can mean anxiety or stress, and how panting when a dog is neither hot nor thirsty can quietly signal fear or genuine worry. Then there are the ones you have probably seen 1,000 times without ever knowing what they meant. The slow lick of the lips when there is no food anywhere in sight. The big stretching yawn that has nothing at all to do with being sleepy. The whites of the eyes showing as they glance away from you. The full body shake off, as though they are physically flinging the discomfort right off their fur. Every one of these is your dog gently saying, "I am not comfortable right now." And here is the real weight of it. When these signals get ignored over and over again, the dog slowly learns that talking to you simply does not work, and a dog who has given up on talking is a dog quietly inching toward a bite. Learning to truly see these tiny words is the difference between a dog who merely tolerates you and a dog who trusts you with everything. Number 4. Never letting your dog start the conversation. So much of getting this right comes down to who reaches out first, and most of us have it completely backward. We catch sight of our dog, we feel the love rise up in our chest, and we go straight in, hand out, leaning right over them before they have had any say in the matter at all. The guidance from the veterinarians at Hills turns this whole thing on its head. They recommend letting the dog initiate the contact, starting gently on the chest and the shoulder, and then letting the dog take the lead on how much petting happens and how often it happens. Picture for a moment how completely different that feels from your dog's side of things. Instead of a hand descending on them out of nowhere, they get to walk into your touch, to choose it for themselves, to set their own pace. And those first few strokes, the experts say, should be slow and almost like a light massage, an open invitation rather than a sudden ambush. When you let your dog start the conversation, you are handing them a kind of control they almost never get to have. And dogs who feel in control of their own bodies relax in a way that forced affection can simply never produce. Try it just once, and watch your dog visibly soften under your hand. It is a small change that quietly rewrites the entire interaction between you. Number 3. Going straight for the most sensitive spots. Even when our hearts are completely in the right place, our hands have a way of wandering straight to the places dogs like the very least. A respected animal behavior specialist lays the map out plainly, advising people to avoid petting or grabbing at a dog's tail, their feet, their legs, their head, and their ears. The veterinary team at Dogster echoes this, almost word for word, naming the muzzle, the legs, the paws, and the ears among the areas to steer well clear of, while pointing you instead toward the shoulders, the chest, and the base of the neck, as the places dogs genuinely welcome your touch. Just like us, dogs instinctively guard their most vulnerable parts, the places where they feel exposed or where a bad memory might be hiding. A dog who once had a frightening nail trim or a rough ear cleaning will not soon forget it, and your hand drifting toward those areas can bring all of that worry rushing back. It is never personal. Your dog is simply protecting themselves the only way they know how. Stick to the safe, welcoming places, and you will feel the difference in how your dog leans into you instead of pulling away. Number 2. Reaching right over the top of the head. This is the one almost every single person on earth gets wrong, myself included for years before I knew better. We see a dog and our hand goes up and over, coming down to pat them right on the top of the head, because somewhere along the way we all decided that is just how you greet a dog. A certified behavior consultant put it in a way I have never forgotten. She said it is called a pet and not a pat for a reason, and that most dogs do not like the common pat on the head at all, but far prefer a chest rub or a gentle tickle under the chin. Stop and think about what that overhead reach looks like from down where your dog is standing. A large hand suddenly appears above their head, blocking their view, descending toward the most vulnerable part of their whole body, the part that holds their eyes and their ears. The veterinarians at Hills give the simple fix. Pet your dog on the chest, the shoulder, or the base of the neck instead of moving your hand over the top of their head. So the next time your dog ducks away from your reaching hand, please understand they are not being stubborn or disobedient. They are bracing against a hand they cannot see coming, and once you stop reaching over the top, you will watch years of that quiet flinching simply melt away. Number 1. Skipping the one test that changes everything. The Merck Veterinary Manual itself states that for dogs who are sensitive to touch, a consent petting protocol should be used. That sounds clinical, but the idea behind it is the most tender thing imaginable. You simply ask your dog whether they want to be touched, and then you actually listen to the answer. You pet your dog gently for about 3 seconds, and then you stop and take your hand away. Then you watch. If your dog moves closer, or nudges your hand, or shifts their body back toward you, that is them clearly saying, yes, please, more of that. But if they hold still, or turn away, or step back even slightly, that is them just as clearly saying, not right now, and you honor it without taking it to heart. That pause is everything. It hands your dog a voice in a relationship where they so rarely get one. And if your dog is the one who keeps you company through the quiet hours, the one whose warmth fills a home that might otherwise feel far too empty, then giving them that voice is perhaps the most loving gift you have to offer. Pet for 3 seconds, then pause and ask, do that, and you will finally be speaking your dog's language. If this opened your eyes to even one thing your dog has been trying to tell you, do me a favor and tell me about it down in the comments. I read every single one, and I would love to hear about your dog. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.